So there's certainly more trouble for IndusInd Bank as the Serious Fraud Investigation Office, or the SFIO, has begun an investigation into the bank's accounting discrepancies. And according to an exchange filing, the agency has sought relevant information from the bank regarding the ongoing probe. So my colleague Vishwanath Nair is joining me on the phone line to get us more details on the story. So Vishwanath, first help us understand that when a listed bank receives a letter from the SFIO seeking such information, so how serious is this development and how should markets, read it at this stage?
Himanshu, I'm not entirely sure how markets should read it, but let me start by saying that this is on a complaint that was filed by the bank itself. In its exchange notification, the bank has said that it had reported the accounting discrepancies and the issues that it was having with its previous management, the former MD and CEO of the bank and the deputy CEO of the bank, to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the SFIO. And regarding this, of course, SFIO has already had a conversation with the bank, and now they are seeking further investigation. The negative part in this whole thing is that one would have expected this to already have ended, considering that this started back in June, and now it's already December. The fact that this case is still open and there are still questions being asked of the bank, that is an important development, and that is something that is going to be a serious negative for IndusInd Bank, because, once you look at the way the story has evolved, in March, the bank comes out with the disclosure that there are some accounting discrepancies. The management of the bank then steps down. The CEO and the deputy CEO both step down in April. After that, of course, the board takes charge of the bank. In June, they filed a formal complaint because, according to what the bank had said back then, they believe a fraud had been perpetrated against the bank. So they have filed that case. One would have assumed that between June and December, this whole thing would have already gotten resolved and the bank would have moved forward. But if this investigation is still open, that means that anything could happen at any point in time, and that's something that's been a constant problem within IndusInd Bank. As and when the market thinks that this is all over and done with and we can look forward, suddenly something comes out and then it becomes a bit of a negative surprise for IndusInd Bank.
Absolutely, Vishwanath. Just stay with us. I just wanted to ask that, how do the investors, should be viewing this? Because what are the key disclosures that investors must look out from, on this key development that has come in?
Well, to be fair, an investigation is ongoing, so the investors can't really expect much disclosure from the bank because it's an ongoing investigation. The bank cannot tell the world what exactly is going on, right? Like, that's not something that the police officers would want the world to know at this point in time, at least. However, one would expect, because just remember that according to the exchange notification, the SFIO letter came on the 23rd of December. The bank had the whole day today to actually report this to the exchanges, and they've chosen to do that only around 5:15 p.m. While legally and as per regulatory requirement, that would have been fine. But the fact is that if it had not come out soon, if it had come out sooner, then you would have seen some amount of reaction in the market over the course of the day. Now, tomorrow's a public holiday, and then on Friday, when the markets open again, we will see how investors are actually reading this. But the sort of slow response in informing the exchanges about what has happened, especially when you got the letter a day before, that's something that definitely is an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So clearly here, this is a developing story, and while an SFIO letter does not imply the wrongdoings at this stage, it does introduce uncertainty, and markets, don't really like the uncertainty. But for investors, the key will be the disclosures, regulatory clarity, and also how IndusInd Bank responds going forward. Thank you so much, Vishy, for joining us.